But we're hot to trot here for Aldebaran Park. Actually, quite funny. I got the Woodlands hat on, but Duncan won't mind. He actually had a what the Hill winner. No, he had a What the Hill winner the other day. He was up and about that Suzanne, Aldebaran Suzanne. That does go very good. Ryan Hryhorec joins me here in Tassie, but after. Well, we'll start with 10 Eagles by Aldebaran Eagle, a very, very progressive-looking horse that seems to have a nice future about him.
Yeah, he's been a slow learner just through maturity, and he grew into an absolute beast and a brute of an animal till his 3-year-old days after his 2-year-old days. So really starting to get it together. He hasn't been the smoothest trotter, but last night was the first time he drove really nice and felt really good. Not overly strong at this point, but I think he's 12 months away, so we'll probably run him around for a few more weeks just to get a bit of... he just needs to learn his craft a little bit more before we probably give him a good break and bring him back as a 4-year-old.
Looked like you had him cold around the turn and then sort of switched off up the straight. They're never going to go past him, but he just that little bit hot and cold, sort of, that's where he's got to learn.
Yeah, he was sort of lucky enough that it was on a small field and we had an easy time of it, but he got through a lot. It's the first time I've really pushed a button off the gate with him, and it was a bit hairy to the first corner because it was sort of do or die. So he got through that really well. So he has come a long way. Just love the Eagles. We sort of went pretty hard when we knew, unfortunately, there wasn't going to be too much around. Hence the reason we got the 2-year-old Ideology is an Eagle, and so is 10 Eagles.
We'll start with the fact you love them. We'll get on to Ideology. Anyone wondering, it's sort of an okay story, but I think it might be still a little bit bittersweet for you at the minute. What is it about the Eagles that you love?
So I was lucky enough, I'll probably head back, I think he might be 5 or 6 now. So 5 or 6 years ago, Duncan McPherson rang me up and said, come home, come to the farm and pick out a horse. And he's yours, you can have him. So we went there and picked out a horse called Aldebaran Dexter, who was an Eagle, who we just loved. Done a terrific job, was a really nice 2-year-old. He's just shy of 100,000 now. So through him come the story of meeting Duncan and having a great relationship with him. And then we bought 10 spanners. She broke down and then went to stud. They didn't want to breed from her. We bought her and then bred from her, went to Eagle, which bought him, and then we ended up buying a broodmare off of Duncan that was in foal to Eagle, which turned out to be Ideology.
It's a shocking name sometimes,
isn't it? I told my wife it's the worst name ever.
That's a great story, and he does an amazing job. He's had 100 foals. I haven't got the stat in front of me, but it is ridiculous, his figures from 100 foals, and that's 100 foals all up. Some of them still aren't old enough to race, and he's just done an amazing job. He's left 2 horses that have won Derby and Oaks as fillies, obviously, in the 1 year. He just unheralded a little bit of what he's been able to achieve.
Oh, just phenomenal. And then sort of when we had just an Aldebaran Dexter at the time, Rockinwithattitude come on the scene. So they were just doing things really, really early. And he's, like you said, his numbers speak for himself. So unfortunately, obviously, he's passed on, which is disappointing for Duncan, but he still lives it and gives Duncan a massive thrill with every time. Every time he wins, he shoots a message or says another Eagle's just won. He's just, there's not a passionate man in trotting more than Duncan.
I can attest to that because I get the same messages on my phone. Aldebaran Zeus is actually by Muscle Hill, same sire as Aldebaran Eagle, so please, if you want to support and go down those same lines, go there. Right, the sore point of last night, unfortunately things didn't quite go to plan. Everything went to plan until the last 150 last night with your wife's in so much trouble. Ideology. 2 from 2 before last night. Did everything right last night, was just a victim of things going wrong. But he looks a horse, 3-year-old career ahead of him, and you might be doing a bit of travelling. You might be coming to Victoria, you might be going to New South Wales with him. Yeah,
unfortunately, if the money wasn't so good as 2-year-olds, you probably wouldn't have seen him. That's sort of what, they're just not quite there, but because the money's there, you sort of push him on to be there. So he done a good job to get there. He's green and immature, and he needs to fill out, and he will grow a bit. So hopefully next year he can grow into a nice horse. I do like him, I've always liked him, but he has been a work in progress. He's just one of them that every time you've worked him, he's just sort of upped his game, got a little bit better, which tends, the better ones are the ones that do that rather than the ones that stop. So, fingers crossed. Unfortunately, no fault of his own last night, it just turned to,
custard.
Absolute custard, turning for home, and it was terribly disappointing, and took me for all part of 3 races to get over it, so I had to pull it together, unfortunately, and the rest of the night turned out really good. So it was terribly disappointing for the owners. Yeah, possibly blame myself for putting myself in that position, which is what I do. But yeah, it's the game's up and down, and you got to take the bad with the good. And yeah, we got to put the chocolates in the bag and move on.
So we've got a very nice horse. As I said, I can see you doing a bit of travelling next year. Hopefully you're doing a lot of travelling, Queensland, back to New South Wales with the money that's been offered now with these young trotters. Could be a good opportunity with a horse like him. Ryan, thank you. Have you got any more Eagles in the background that haven't started yet?
Yeah, so unfortunately he was the last one, because we went as hard as we could to get the last lot that was left before we couldn't use it anymore. So that's all we got.
Well, not a tipping show, but I was just thinking, well, if we find another one, we never know. We might have a bit of a love for it. Mate, thank you very much. Hot to Trot for Aldebaran Park. Give the guys at aldebaranpark.com a call. Ryan, thanks for giving us a fair bit of insight. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate your time, mate, too, because you've given me a fair bit today, so I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.